It's Roll for Crate here again at Gen Con 2019. Here, we're now going to talk about Namiji from Fun Forge Games. This is actually a new game in the Tokaido universe, I guess would be the same thing, not an expansion. If you don't know, Tokaido is a game where you are traveling from Tokyo to Kyoto, an ancient Japan, just trying to have a good trip, collecting souvenirs, having good meals, you know, having a great vacation. This one, however, you are all fishermen, and you are working. This is your job.
Yeah, it's a little bit more involved than Tokaido, but if you're familiar with that, the basics are very, very similar. All players are traveling around a board, and you can move essentially as far ahead as you want, and each space gives you a different ability. The last player in position always goes ahead first, so you might get multiple turns in a row if there's multiple spaces in front of you, and you take them all. So some of the spaces that you might get, for instance, you can go fishing because you're a fisherman, and there'll be a pile of fish, and you can take one up, it's a little token, put it on your own personal board, and you're trying to match certain sets of either colors or symbols from the fish, and if you fill up a row or column with the same symbol or color, you get points for that. You might draw certain cards that will make up a panorama of, what should I say, what are they called? Panorama works. There's another one though, I'll come up with it later, of a fish, a dolphin, a blue whale, or an orca, at least when we played it. And similar to Tokaido, if you've played that, if you can make the whole picture, you get all the cards that complete that animal, you get points for that. There are lots of other things that you can do too. There's some new interesting ones in addition to those.
Another interesting thing is, this one's pretty simple though, is the shrimp. You can go pull from a bag, it's a push your luck thing, and it's full of shrimp and crabs. Should you reveal 2 crabs, you lose everything. You stop, you take all the shrimp and crabs, you get a point for each one. Very interesting. There's also, you actually lose points at the end of the game if you don't make enough offerings to the sea god.
Yeah.
So there's points where you know, it's not paying like in Tokaido. It's simply just take a little boat, you put it in the water, and hope the sea god understands that you respect them. So that's another fun thing. The really cool thing is there's secret goals. I think they mentioned like in Crossroads. So you can draw from 2 for those, choose one, keep it, which can give you more points at the end that no one knows about, which of course I'm a big fan of because anything that end game unsure goals, I think, keeps more people engaged.
Yeah, no, those are really good for me too because they give you a direction to go in. So you're like, oh, I want these types of spaces. You have a different personal strategy rather than just, I guess I'll go here for points or here, you know, because there's so many different options you can take.
Especially in Tokaido, this kind of game in the previous one where there's a lot of different avenues you can take, but you can't do everything. So giving you that direction is helpful. Speaking of direction, instead of meals, those checkpoints you stop the islands are actually upgrades. Like the meals, that you don't have to pay for them. It's simply choosing one of them, and they can give you things like if you do the shrimp action, now you also get the fish. If you do the secret goal action, you actually get to look through the deck instead of just taking the top 2.
Yeah, so that there's a lot of different variety of things you can get, like you said, different potential kind of upgrades and abilities, so that will make you stand out more from everyone else, even though you do start with the same template. There's no personal player powers beyond that. But I thought this game, like we said, very similar to Tokaido, but as they described it, more kind of mini games as you go on. And I don't know if I like one or the other better than the other, but this one certainly felt good to play. It was really fun. I think if you like Tokaido, this one will offer something different to complement it.
To me, Tokaido is simply a set collecting game. Not that that's bad. I actually really like it, and because I think I once heard, I can't remember what reviewer called it, the most competitive Zen game, and I like that description of it. This feels more like an engine building game. Like, yeah, you're still collecting sets of fish in that board thing, but really you don't think of it as that. You think more of like, oh, I'm doing the fish because now I have an upgrade, but let me fish twice. Like that you got, I think, actually in the game. And like, oh, maybe I'm going to go more whales because I have a secret goal that does that. And also an upgrade that every time I do the whale panorama, I also do an offering. Right. It feels more that you're building up your boat and how you get your points instead of just simply gathering as much as you can.
Yeah, and I think it does retain what Tokaido had in the sense that it's maybe a little more competitive in some ways, but not really. It still has the same kind of thing where, I mean, obviously you are fighting against each other, but it's not like super hostile, and most of it is indirect, like taking people's spaces and things. So it still has that kind of zen, relaxing feel to it that you're not going to get wiped out from fighting with each other too much, which is nice. It's a nice, fun game. Artwork wasn't finished in the version that we played, but what we saw from it and even what we had on the board was beautiful, just like Tokaido. There's a really good game to look forward to here.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to see this more in final production state. I had a lot of fun. I'm also a big fan of Tokaido, so I think it was probably not a far leap for me to enjoy this.
I'm with you. So talk to us in the comments. Let us know if you're excited for this and what word might have been thinking of, or am I just so sleep deprived and drained from being a Gen Con for so long that it was the right word and I'm just dying. For more Gen Con content, like this video, subscribe to Roll for Crit, and follow us on all our social media platforms.
But if you really need more, you can visit our Patreon, where we'll be having a exclusive little Gen Con mini podcast to listen to.
And there's our contest running right now for the Keyforge Age of Ascension set. You can try to win. Find the link in the description down below.